I want you to picture a scenario that is, well, practically a rite of passage for modern adulthood. Saturday morning, you wake up, sun is shining, but you feel like you've been hit by a truck. Throat on fire, fever, the works. You know you need a doctor, but, and this is the kicker, it's the weekend.
Which means you're entering the healthcare dead zone.
The dead zone, exactly. So you spend the next 48 hours just marinating in misery, dreading Monday morning. Because you know at 8 a.m. sharp, you have to make the call. You're going to get a busy signal, like 3 times. And when you finally get through, you are trapped in hold music purgatory.
Oh, that synthesized smooth jazz loop. And a recorded voice politely reminds you every 30 seconds that your call is very important to us.
If it was that important, pick up the phone. But here is why we're talking about this. That whole experience, the waiting, the dreadful elevator music, the business hours limitation, is rapidly becoming an artifact of history. We're diving into the technology that is killing the hold line, the modern chatbot. And I know as soon as I say chatbot, you're probably picturing those annoying, clunky pop-up windows from like 2010 that just got in your way.
Stick with us because we aren't talking about those. That's like comparing a paper airplane to a fighter jet. The old stuff was basically an online appointment form masquerading as a chat. You know, a self-service checkout. Cold, rigid, and you did all the work. We are looking at the new wave AI-driven tools that act like a personal assistant who not only knows what you need but anticipates it before you even finish typing.
And that is the mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack how businesses are using this to overhaul their entire operation. We'll look at the surprising personality these things are developing. I mean, some of them are actually funny. And we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of how you can build one without writing a single line of code.
It's a massive shift. But to understand why these bots are suddenly everywhere, you really have to look at the bottom line. It's not just about being high-tech. It's about survival.
The efficiency stats we pulled for this are pretty wild. There was one figure that said implementing a solid chatbot strategy can reduce customer service costs by up to 30%. That sounds great for the CFO, but does it actually help the customer? Or is it just a way to deflect us so they don't have to pay humans?
That's a fair skepticism. We've all been trapped in a doom loop with a bad bot where you just want to scream representative over and over again. But when it's done right, that 30% savings comes from speed, not obstruction. I mean, think about the overhead of a call center training, shifts, breaks. Bots don't sleep, they don't take lunch, and they can handle 10,000 people simultaneously.
Okay, but volume is one thing, quality is another. If I'm buying something expensive, I don't want to talk to a calculator.
Let's look at IU. They are a luxury eyewear company, high-ticket items. In that market, if the service feels cheap, you lose the customer, right? They integrated an AI chatbot, but they didn't hide it. It greets you immediately. Need help, let's chat.
And the data shows it worked. The response time dropped from an average of 5 minutes down to 30 seconds. An 86% drop in waiting time. That's the difference between me buying the sunglasses and me clicking over to Amazon because I got bored.
Exactly. And here is where that deflection argument kind of falls apart. Sales actually increased by 25%. They use features like shopping cart recovery. If you abandon a cart, the bot nudges you. It's not just tech support, it's a proactive sales agent.
So it's faster and it sells more. Okay, that explains why businesses love them. But let's talk about the user experience.
It is.
Because efficiency is great, but nobody wants to talk to a robot that sounds like, well, a robot.
That monotone, I do not understand vibe.
Right. But we're seeing this pivot to personality. And the best example of this, which I honestly didn't believe until I looked it up, is Casper Mattresses. They made a bot for insomniacs.
Insomnibot 3000. This is just a masterclass in what we call conversational marketing.
So for those who haven't met Insomnibot, explain what makes this thing different, because it's not really trying to sell you a mattress, at least not at first.
No, not at all. The goal is companionship. It's designed for people who are awake at 2:20 a.m. when all their friends are asleep. You text it, and it acts like a virtual comedic being. It cracks jokes, it talks about late-night snacks, it commiserates about being awake.
It's basically a digital buddy.
It is, but think about the technical challenge there. To be funny, a bot has to understand nuance. It has to understand slang, timing, context. That requires really sophisticated natural language processing, or NLP. It's not just matching keywords, it's understanding the vibe.
And that vibe check goes beyond humor. This is where the tech gets a little mind-bending for me. We're talking about sentiment analysis. These bots aren't just reading your text, they're reading your mood.
Oh yeah, this is standard now. Modern bots are trained to detect polarity. They analyze your word choice, your punctuation, even the length of your sentences to categorize you, positive, negative, or neutral. Some can drill down to specific emotions. angry, confused, happy.
So if I'm typing in all caps, using a lot of exclamation points and saying words like unacceptable, the bot has flagged me as hostile.
Immediately. And that triggers a different protocol. You know those Net Promoter Score surveys, would you recommend us? Bots are basically calculating that in real time. If you're flagged as angry, a smart bot won't keep trying to give you FAQ articles. It will pivot. It might instantly route you to a senior human agent.
Which is actually a relief. It's the safety net.
It preserves the relationship. The bot recognizes, okay, I am out of my depth. This person is upset. Bring in the human who has the power to offer a discount.
It's interesting to think that the bot knows I'm mad before the human agent even picks up. It's like, incoming rage, Sector 7.
Exactly. It gives the human a heads up. They know they're walking into a fire.
Let's pull back the curtain a bit. We've talked about the why and the personality, but what's actually happening under the hood? If I type, my vacuum is broken, what is the bot doing?
Well, it generally follows a four-step flow. First, obviously, is the interaction, you type or speak. Second is the brain work, NLP or NLU. That's natural language understanding. This is where it deciphers your intent. You might type, it's not sucking up dirt, or suction failed, or broken thingy. The NLU has to figure out that all three of those mean maintenance issue.
It translates human frustration into a database query.
Precisely. Step 3, it searches the knowledge base. That's the library of answers. And step 4, it formulates the response.
Okay, let's use a real example to ground this. iRobot, the Roomba people. They're doing something really smart with how they structure this conversation.
They really are. They hit all the key components of good design. Step 1 is the greeting. They don't wait for you to find a help page. They use proactive pop-ups. Hi, looking for a specific model.
And step 2 is suggested paths. This reminds me of the Expedia model. Sometimes I don't want to chat. I just want a button that says cancel booking.
Right. It's a menu. It just speeds things up. But step 3, that's the game changer. This is where we move from a dumb menu to a smart assistant. It's personalization via attributes.
This is the part that solves my biggest pet peeve.
Repeating yourself.
Yes. Explaining my problem to Agent A, getting transferred, and having to explain the whole history again to Agent B. It makes me want to throw the phone.
A context-aware chatbot solves this by storing attributes. So if you told the iRobot bot last week that your Roomba 980 wasn't charging, it saves that. When you come back today, it doesn't say, hello, what is your serial number? It says, welcome back. Is the charging issue with the Roomba 980 continuing?
That shift from who are you to welcome back is huge. It feels like competence.
It feels like they know you. And that leads to step 4. Product recommendations. Since it knows what you have and what you've looked at, it can make smart suggestions. If you're on the Nike site, it's not suggesting sandals if you've been looking at marathon gear. It's suggesting running shoes based on your history.
Okay, so that's the customer-facing side. But there was another use case in the research that I hadn't even thought of. We always assume chatbots are for us, the customers. But what about for the employees?
This is a massive area of growth. Internal knowledge bases.
The McDonald's example. Ask Pickles.
Ask Pickles. It's such a great name. But think about the problem it solves. You're a crew member. You're, 18 years old. The ice cream machine is acting up, which, let's be honest, is a cultural meme at this point. In the old days, you'd have to go find a manager or dig through some greasy paper binder in the back office to find the manual.
Which nobody's going to do. They're just going to guess or say it's broken.
Exactly. With Ask Pickles, they type, how to clean ice cream machine into the internal bot, and it pulls the exact procedure instantly.
It sounds convenient, but isn't there a bigger implication here? If the bot knows everything, does that devalue experience? You used to need the old-timer who knew how to kick the machine just right. Now you just need the bot.
That is the trade-off. It externalizes institutional knowledge. You rely less on tenure and more on the database. It makes the workforce more flexible. Anyone can do any job if they have the bot, but it also makes individual employees more, interchangeable.
That's a sobering thought. The bot makes you efficient, but it also makes you replaceable. Now, I want to clarify something tech-wise. We've been throwing around terms like AI and chatbot, but they aren't all the same, right? Ask Pickles sounds like it's just looking up facts. But how is that different from the decision trees we read about?
That's a crucial distinction. A decision tree is old-school logic. It's a roadmap. If A, then B, it's rigid. Think of it like a stock investment website. The bot asks, what is your timeline? You click short term, it sends you down branch A. You click retirement, it sends you down branch B. It can't improvise, it's just filtering you.
So the Sony audio system example, helping you set up speakers, that would be a decision tree.
Mostly yes. Do you have a subwoofer? Yes, no. Place it in the corner. It's a manual turned into a chat. And it's incredibly useful for technical support where there is a right answer and a wrong answer. You don't want a creative AI hallucinating instructions on how to wire a plug. You want the rigid decision tree.
Right. I do not want the bot getting creative with my electrical wiring. But the motivation mentor example, that's the new stuff. That's generative AI.
Correct. And this brings us to the DIY revolution. This is where the barrier to entry has completely collapsed. You used to need a team of engineers to build a bot. Now, with no-code platforms like Poe, ManyChat, or Dialogflow, anyone can do it.
When we say anyone, do we really mean anyone, or do we mean anyone with a computer science degree?
No, I mean anyone who can write a sentence. The skill set has shifted from coding to prompting. The source material had an exercise on creating a motivation mentor bot on Poe.
Walk us through that.
You log in, you choose a brain like ChatGPT or Claude, and then you just write the instructions. You are a motivational mentor. You provide uplifting tech quotes. You are empathetic but firm. That's it. You hit create.
It's programming in English.
It is, but the nuance, and this is where the skill comes in, is in refining that prompt. If you just say, be a mentor, it might be boring. If you say, be a mentor who speaks like a 19th century sea captain, now you have a character.
Keep coding, matey.
Exactly. And you can even add visuals now. You can tell the bot to generate an avatar using daily or stable diffusion. So your sea captain mentor has a face.
It's wild that we can just spin these up in minutes.
Yeah.
But they aren't just sitting on websites anymore. They're like sliding into our DMs.
Social media integration. If you are a business, you have to be where the people are. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp.
The Whole Foods example is my favorite / most dangerous one.
The taco emoji.
Yes.
Yeah.
Explain how easy they made this.
Their Facebook bot is trained to recognize food emojis. You send it a taco emoji. It doesn't say error. It sends you a recipe for tacos and a link to buy the ingredients from Whole Foods.
That is just frictionless. And dangerous for my wallet. If I can just text a burger emoji and get dinner sorted.
That's the goal. Remove the friction between I'm hungry and purchase complete and the market is responding. Projections say this industry will hit, what, $15.5 billion by 2028?
Okay, we've been riding the hype train for a bit here. Efficiency, funny mattresses, taco emojis. But we need to look at the dark side. Because whenever there is data, there are bad guys.
We have to be realistic. There are serious security risks here. And I'd argue the biggest one isn't just hacking, it's deception.
Malicious chatbots.
Right. Attackers can create bots that look exactly like your bank support chat or a retailer's help desk. You think you're resolving a billing issue, so you type in your credit card number or your password.
But you're actually handing it directly to a scammer.
And because the bot sounds so human, thanks to that NLT we talked about, you let your guard down. You trust the personality.
And then there's injection attacks, which sounds like a medical procedure, but I assume it's malware.
It is. Attackers can hide malicious code in the chat initiation itself. You click the chat bubble, and it executes a script on your browser.
So as these things get smarter, the scams get smarter.
They do. Which is why, despite all this talk of automation and 30% savings, the most critical component is still the human being.
The human in the loop.
AI is fantastic at volume. It's great at where's my order or reset my password, but it doesn't have empathy. It can detect that you are angry as a data point, but it doesn't care that you're angry.
It knows the statistics of anger, not the feeling of it.
Exactly. So the best model isn't bots replacing humans, it's bots filtering for humans. Let the bot handle the 80% of boring, repetitive stuff so the human agents can focus on the complex, emotional, high-stakes problems.
So we've gone from the dread of hold music to internal bots helping employees to DIY mentors we build ourselves. It really is a total transformation of how we talk to businesses.
It is. It's making the world faster, but we have to make sure we don't lose the quality in the pursuit of speed.
And that leads me to the thought I want to leave everyone with today. We talked about attributes, the bot remembering your shoe size, your Roomba model, your preferences. It feels convenient. It feels like white glove service.
Sure.
But as these bots get better at predicting our needs and reading our moods and knowing our history, at what point does that helpful personalization cross the line into surveillance?
That is the big question. When does I know what you need turn into I know too much about you?
Next time a chat window pops up and asks how you're feeling, take a second to look closer. Is it just a decision tree trying to help, or is it really watching you? Thanks for diving in with us. See you next time.